Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to look at Deuteronomy 23 and 24, and we're going to look at 6 things. Well, we're getting more laws about who can come before the Lord. Now, these are all about holiness. Remember how they could only bring sheep without defects? Well, it's true. It's starting off with men with genital defects cannot come before the Lord. Or if you're a foreigner, you're not allowed to come before the Lord in the tabernacle. That doesn't mean you can't follow God, you can't worship God. But if you're going to be in the tabernacle, you've got to be without the defects. You should even keep the camp as you're moving about holy. 2, sexual purity is important. A biological man married to a biological woman is the only place where sex is pure. Any other place, any other deviation you can think of is just that. It's devious, not pure. So you, the nation of Israel, and us today have the same laws. If you look at in the New Testament, it's all in there. It's all the same. Biological man, biological woman who are married. That's the only place. 3, nobody should bring ill-gotten money into the Lord's house. And he's going to talk about money brought in by a prostitute, not acceptable. So we're even keeping the money holy. Number 4, pay your vows. These are a few together. Pay your vows. Don't lend money at interest to your Israelite neighbors. If you go into a vineyard or a grove, you're allowed to eat what you can pluck with your hands, but you can't put any in your pockets or a bag or a basket and take it with you. So if you were walking by an orchard and took an apple, you could eat it. Number 5, some marriage laws. If you divorce a woman because there's something impure about her, and she remarries and then gets divorced again, you cannot marry her again. That would be like adultery. And for the first year of marriage, a man is responsible to his wife. He does not take on outside responsibility like going to war or things like that. He needs to be a happy married man and devote himself to his wife's happiness. It says other places in Scripture for the first year. So, ladies, that's all you get is 1 year of happiness. Number 6, don't keep sources. Don't keep the source of income for someone. Like it says the upper millstone, like you could take that as a pledge for one day, but you better bring it back the same day so they can continue making money. You can't keep somebody's cloak as a pledge overnight because how will they keep warm? So you've got to be careful on that. If you lend somebody and they say, hey, let me have $5 and you can have my jacket and hold it, well, you better bring the jacket back. And there you go. So let's dive right in. Deuteronomy 23 and 24. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. A bastard shall not enter the congregation of the Lord. Even to the 10th generation he shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever, because they met you not with bread and water in the way, when you came forth out of Egypt. And because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor, of Pethor, of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity all their days. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Remember Edom, or Esau, as his name was. Jacob and Esau are brothers, so the Edomites are kind of relatives to the Israelites. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their 3rd generation. So if you became a part of Israel, You have to wait 3 generations of being an Israelite before you could partake like an Israelite. The other one was 10 generations. That's pretty crazy. When the host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. If there be any man among you that is not clean by reason of uncleanness that chances him by night, then he shall go abroad out of the camp, and he shall not come within the camp. But it shall be when evening cometh on, he will wash himself with water. When the sun go down, he shall come into the camp again. Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whither thou shalt go forth abroad. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon, and it shall be when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig wherewith, and shalt turn back and cover which cometh from thee. Okay, so no easy way to say this. If you're going to go poo, you got to go outside the camp, dig a hole, and then do your business, cover it back up. The King James kind of skirts some of these uncomfortable issues here. For this is why, though, for the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee, and to give up thine enemies before thee. Therefore thy camp shall be holy, and he will see no unclean thing in thee, and will turn away from thee. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant that is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in the place he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Both of those not allowed, not sexual purity. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore, or the price of a dog, into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow, for even both of these are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. So you can't charge interest for anything, food or money or anything. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto your brother you may not lend upon usury. That the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thy hand in the land whither thou goest to possess it. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord, thou shalt not be slack to pay it, for the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and it would be a sin in thee. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin to thee. So better to not vow than to vow and not pay. That which is gone out of thy lips thou shalt keep and perform, even a freewill offering, according as thou hast vowed unto the Lord thy God, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, thou mayest eat grapes thy fill at thine own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessel. When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, thou mayst pluck ears in thy hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle into thy neighbor's standing corn. Chapter 24. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it came to pass that she had no favor in his eyes, because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it into her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and give it into her hand, and sendeth her out of the house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, the former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled. For that is an abomination before the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the sin into the land, and the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. When a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken. No man shall take the nether or the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh a man's life to pledge. Remember, he can't take something that the guy's earning his work with. If a man be found stealing of his brethren, of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die. Thou shalt put away evil from you. So no kidnapping or adult napping for slavery. That will get you killed. Take heed in the plague of leprosy that thou observe diligently, and do according to all the priests the Levites shall teach you, as I command them, so you shall observe to do. Remember what the Lord thy God did unto Miriam by way of Egypt, after that you were come forth out of Egypt. Remember, she confronted Moses on account of his wife, and suddenly, boom, she was leprous for 7 days. When thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, and let the man to whom thou dost lend shall bring the pledge abroad unto thee. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. In any case, thou shalt deliver him the pledge when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee. And it shall be righteousness unto thee before the Lord. And if you go in his house, and you see he's lending you a cloak, and he has a nice chair, or a nice something else, you're like, well, why don't I get that? It's none of your business. Stay out of that guy's business. You're being kind. Thou shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of the strangers that are in the land within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee to the Lord, and it be unto thee. So, guy works a day, pay him that day. That way he has money to live on. He's poor. He needs the money right then. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor the fatherless, nor the widows, nor take the widow's raiment to pledge. But thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thy harvest in the field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God bless thee in all the work of thy hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of the vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterwards. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and the widow. And thou shalt remember thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. Yeah, so again, we see very clearly that God's plan is to take care of everybody in the nation. Everybody. Widows, orphans, hungry. And that God says he'll bless them more when they do this than if they were to take every single little scrap. You wouldn't receive God's blessing. So, pretty cool. Thanks for coming with us today. We plunge into more tomorrow. Catch you next time.